All right, so we finally got our stainless steel pipe in. They didn't have 1 7/8 for the bottom of the wastegate because it's a 45mm wastegate. So I just went ahead and got 2-inch, which still gives me a lip to weld all the way around. And then this, they actually had the right size, so it fits inside that little lip. And that was 1 3/4, and that's for the 45mm Pulsar wastegate. If anyone's using the same one, that'll help them out a lot. Because I struggled trying to find sizes for these, comparing millimeters to inches. But yeah, that guy is gonna go. I don't know if I really talked about that, but we're gonna use that to cut at like a 30-degree angle-ish, or whatever it really takes. It might be closer to a 20-degree. It's gonna be real tight. Because I'm gonna have this in here and off of that. So I'll probably only use like a short little, I don't know, 2-3 inch piece. I just want to get the angle set first. So I'm gonna keep cutting and grinding that one until I have the angle where I want it. And then I can cut it to the length I need. And then this will sit like this, and then I'll angle that to tie straight. So it's like eye appealing, and basically it runs parallel with that one until it ties into it. I think that's just going to be the best looking if I do something like this and then tie it in straight across like that. It's going to look good. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this knocked out. Hopefully, I just thought about this. Hopefully throwing my exhaust towards that wide band out of the wastegate doesn't mess with that. I mean, regardless, the wideband is just a gauge. There's no computer system. This is all carbureted. China or Russia, anyone could drop a EMP and this bad girl would still fire up. So that's kind of why I want to leave it carbureted too, because I could drive it even if the world goes to shit. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy on there. Well, not on there, but I'm gonna get that pipe made and get an idea of where I want it. I'm gonna have to take apart the turbo side of the exhaust to weld this out. So when I go to weld this out and I take all that apart, I'll leave the oil lines and coolant lines hooked up, and I'll just let it hang out, chilling somewhere. But I gotta get the gaskets in. So I'm definitely gonna get the gaskets in the second I can. I got some work to do. I'm gonna finish fabrication, and then I'll worry about all the silly small stuff. I did tune the carburetor a little bit to go and get the stainless steel piping today. Not much. I literally messed with the idle mixture screw, which is that one right there to the bottom left. And then you have your idle adjustment screw, which is, you can barely see him hiding back right there with a little spring on it. So I leaned out. I richened up the fuel mixture because it was trying to go really lean. So I richened that up, probably about 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn on the carburetor, which, if you know carburetors, that's a lot on adjustment. So it's starting to run a little bit better, but it creeps into the 5 to 6 psi range on the turbo and on the boost gauge, and it really tries to lean out. It tries to creep into that like 13.5 area, which is where I let off because I don't want to blow up the motor. Anytime I've tried to push it beyond 13.5, 14.5, it gives me a real nice loud pop, and I don't want to blow this thing up. So I'm gonna wait until I get the wastegate on. After I get the wastegate on, I'll be able to I'll probably put a 5-pound spring in it, or I might start with a 3-pound, knowing that it's probably gonna overboost, just because the size of this wastegate. So it'll overboost a little bit, and then it'll probably bounce between that 3 and 5 psi. But as long as I can get the air to fuel ratios to be safe, I'm not too worried about it. I don't know if you can see this, but I have the timing retarded really, not a lot, but a little bit. That black line right there, right above the nut or the bolt, is what factory or where I got it from, and it was running good there. I need to get the bottom timing cover so I can set it at 14, negative 14 degrees top dead center, because that's what these little motors like. So I did go ahead and retard that way back so I wouldn't blow it up. But I think that's about it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get the tripod set up so I can start doing some time lapse on getting this stuff knocked out and fabricated.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright guys, so I got this cut at 45, and it actually came out really good. I might have to grind like a little bit of this tip off right here, but nothing too crazy. It actually might help me kick this over the way I want to, but I don't think you guys can see this. It's kind of blocked out of the camera view, but let's see if I can hold it with my hand. Camera. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the wastegate, because all that air is going to be getting thrown into that corner. I can't go much more than a 45, it looks like, because it's going to start running out of like room to be able to put the little diagonal cut on there. So I think 45 is about as much as I'm going to go. It's better than a 90. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this out where it's going to land. And then eventually I'm going to have to pull all the, I might tack it in place just so I can get an idea of where the wastegate's going to set, and set the wastegate on and get the other pipe tacked and get its length set up. And then I should only just have to drill the holes out of each side, out of the exhaust side and then out of the downpipe side, and get these fabricated in. But I think 45 is gonna work, and that's what I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna get this set up on a time lapse.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so the fun part begins. I'm gonna be starting to tear this apart so I can finally get the wastegate on there. So I already got it marked where I want the pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting it torn down so I can get this welded on. And I think I'm only gonna make it like 2-3 inches. Let's see here. So plan for it to be somewhere in there. Right there somewhere. Yeah, right there. Alright, so I plan on having it like that. I'm probably gonna only have it be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long on the top side. So whatever that ends up being, and then straight across. I'll just cut it straight across, so I can weld my little bottom flange on for that wastegate over there. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and get a time lapse going.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so I got a little boring work done off camera. I had to take apart the manifold. The turbo just kind of floated with the exhaust and the intercooler piping. I got bolts in it, so I know just about where it's going to be I did get this marked on where I'm gonna cut that pipe for this guy, and then this guy. Whoop, this guy's gonna go onto that bottom line. That line's center of that pipe going into this one, if that makes sense. And I was gonna try and do that, but the weld was gonna be way too tight on the bottom. So this will sit on there and then flow directly into there. So I gotta do more boring work, tear this all apart, and then when I'm ready to cut it, I'll put it on time lapse when I'm cutting that guy, and welding that flange on, or tacking it on. Probably just gonna tack everything out this time. Make sure everything fits up real good, because I can really only do this one once, so I really don't want to mess it up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so I got this all tacked up, pretty fitted up. There's a little tiny gap that I'm gonna have to weld there, but nothing that I can't weld. Got some good solid tacks on everything. So I'm gonna hang everything and see how it fits. So I'm gonna get a time lapse set up of me hanging everything. There's some big old gaps I'm gonna have to weld. Luckily I'm a really good welder, so I'll probably have to put some filler along that top edge there and just keep closing that gap until it's weldable. I'll just turn the welder way down. Not a big deal. I wish I would have used a hole saw rather than trying to use a freaking grinder to cut out the hole for that, especially how important and how much time this whole manifold took. So I'm definitely gonna fill that in and be careful, make sure I don't blow a hole through it. This is 1/8 inch, so she could take some heat. I can always build a bridge off of the 1/8 inch and tie into that other one. So that's probably gonna be the goal, but I'm gonna do some fitment check and get it on a time lapse.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so I've come to the conclusion with my dad off camera that I'm not gonna tie back into here like I originally thought, because we think it looks way too clean, and I'm really not the best at doing pie cuts and angling them in, and I really don't want to mess that up because it looks sick. So we were talking, we're just gonna do a screamer pipe that goes right back there, and then there's my old exhaust down there, so I might eventually turn this down and go right into that exhaust right there. And then I just cut out the resonator, or not the resonator, the catalytic converter, or I might leave it so it might pass emissions. I don't know how that would work. Yeah, I'll probably eventually tie into the old exhaust, and then that'll be like the screamer exhaust. And I could make it come out the side right by the other one. That would look pretty cool. So that might be future plans. I just have to order 1 3/4 like bend mandrel bent kit, one with like 90s, 180s, and 45s and stuff, just because it makes it way easier than trying to pie cut and do angles and stuff. So that might be in the future plans.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So I had a little issue with the camera and the damn thing didn't record, but I got this thing on there. It's welded out, not the best welds. Again, that's that aluminum coated metal. You can see the aluminum coating where it was and where it's not. It's really hard to weld on, but I got it welded. The stainless welds came out really good, so those I'm happy about. But I'm gonna get the tripod set up, make sure it's on this time, and get this thrown up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so as you guys will see in the video, I had to have my dad help me because I don't know what size of spring. I think they put a 14 or 15 pound spring in this thing from the factory, and I put a 3-pound spring in it so I don't blow up the truck. So he helped me out. Looks like everything's gonna clear underneath the hood. Got that all welded out. I didn't do that on time lapse because, like I said, the video failed. Got the gasket on, got all the gaskets on for the turbo and for the exhaust manifold. Got the spark plug wires back on because those are off. I do have them somewhat out of the way of the wastegate. They're not touching, there's airspace, but I kind of want to zip tie them somehow. Just a way, just to make sure that I don't melt no plug wires and arc those out. Got the coolant line back on. I had to pop that off to get that bolt off and back on. So those are tight. Everything's back on. I'm gonna start it up and check for leaks since I had to take some stuff apart. So I'm gonna start it up. All right. I'm gonna get it started up and see how she sounds. I don't think it'll sound any different until it starts building boost. make sure nothing crazy's happening, and then I'll record some videos later of me ripping around and getting it into boost and getting make sure the air to fuel ratio is right. I'm probably gonna go and rip around with my dad real quick though, and go have a little fun. But I definitely will have a video tomorrow of tuning the truck out. Thank you guys for watching, and today was badass. Thank you. Alright, I'm trying to get it warmed up here. It's still cold. She's running a little rich right now at idle, but I'm gonna let it get to all the way to warm temp. I wouldn't mind if it was like around 13.5. It's about as rich as I'd want it at idle. So we're gonna see where it's at. And then when I was driving it around earlier yesterday, it was going real lean. It was trying to peak all the way into like 16. So I'm gonna figure out if I can't see if I can't set a warning on this, because it's got a warn button. So it'll let me know when it gets above, like, I don't know, probably 14. Because I really don't want to blow this thing up. So I'm gonna try and figure that out. Let this thing warm up, and then if I go for a rip, I'll definitely give you guys a little ride along. Trying to figure out if I can mount the camera anywhere. That's the biggest issue with ride-alongs. But somebody stole my GoPro, so yeah, it makes it very difficult to record videos now. But that's okay.